We are live today with hit it there, my friend.
Back again just before Game 7. So
it's your show, dude.
yeah, I mean, what do you want to start with? We'll talk about the games last night and then the last 7 minutes.
You want to talk about? Yeah, you know what? You lead with whatever you want. This is your show. I'm just here for the ride. Okay.
All right. So never in a million years would I have thought that the Bruins would have lost the way that they lost. So tough road. I mean, it's almost not as worse as what the Lightning did in 2019 because they got swept after having that historical year. But I think this is like a little bit worse because you could kind of just be like, the Lightning just didn't have it for that playoff series, and every game they just lost. This is bad because they were up 3-1. You know, Marchand had that breakaway chance right as time expired in Game 5. They ended up losing Game 5 in overtime.
Oof.
Having that really tough third period in Game 6 where they went back and forth. They had the lead in that third period in Game 6 on the road and then gave it up and lost 7-5. And then to be down 2-0, claw all the way back, have your best player score to make it 3-2, and then just have a tough deflected shot go right to the guy who's got the hot stick. And then overtime, you know, anything can happen in overtime. So
the thing I wanted to ask you, the goalie, Bruins goalie, put in for the game. What would you have done? Would you have put him in for a big Game 7 like that?
So it's interesting because it happened not the way it happened this series, but it happened with the Rangers in round 1 last year. So Tristan Jarry, the Penguin starter, was hurt. They actually had Casey DeSmith, who got hurt because they pushed Capo Caco into him, and I think Brian Dumoulin hurt him.
Okay.
And then they went to Louis Domingue, and then Tristan Jarry, who was their starter, played Game 7 and lost in OT. So, you know, is there like a mojo thing, a feel thing? Obviously a little different of a situation. But if you didn't think Ullmark was going to have it, then yeah, play Swayman. I mean, I don't think it's his fault that they lost.
No, I didn't know. But I'm saying, would you, as a coach,
that would have been such a hard decision for me to make. I just think the fact that he was cold, unless I really thought Ullmark wasn't seeing the puck well and that the Panthers kind of figured him out.
Right.
It's like the same thing bringing in a closer. You know, let's say you have a guy pitch 8 innings, but you need 3 outs. You don't want the team to go up. You don't want those batters seeing the same guy for like the 3rd or 4th time.
Right. Because
they might know his stuff. So I think Montgomery was probably like, he didn't really have a great third period. They figured him out. And Game 7, you need to make the saves. So put in Swayman, who, again, had an amazing year. Again, that could have been due to the fact that the Bruins were just so dominant, controlling the puck, that their numbers get inflated.
Okay.
But, again, I think he played well enough for
I did too.
The game, so I can't really fault Montgomery.
And it was like a pin drop there. I mean,
yeah. I mean, listen, sudden death, Game 7, it's just you're dead. That's it. There's no like, okay, we got another chance here. It's the hardest thing about hockey. Game 7 overtime.
The fans were like, and Michigan and I were like, yes. Yeah. I mean, to win 6, I was just talking to my dad. I mean, it's a record for like the biggest upset ever because Florida came in, they got in
the point differential.
43. Was it 92 to 130? I mean,
yeah. I was watching with Sam. She was very happy. You know, she's like a quasi Panther fan.
Right.
Loves watching.
And what about Eric? Must have been. I mean, he must have been streaking through the streets.
Yeah. He didn't get any videos from him, but immediate text like, "Oh my god, that's unbelievable."
Unbelievable.
And I have to point out, Sam, you know, the sports mind that she is. She mentioned that he and Panthers, Florida teams upsetting 1 seeds.
Right.
I don't know the last time a city's had.
And they were both number 1 last year. Panthers and the Heat were number 1 last year, and then this year they're 8 and they're both. Now, that's what I want to ask you. Do you remember a time when 2 8s beat 2 1s right off the bat in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Was it when the Kings won in 2012?
So they were there. I looked that up. They're the only 8 ever to win the Cup. They beat the Devils that year.
Right.
So, okay. Now Kraken.
So I didn't really watch a lot of the game, but I saw all of the goals.
And you saw the offside nullified.
No, I didn't see it, but everyone was saying on Twitter that it was clearly offside.
Clearly offside.
So, like, that sucks. But like, if
It was so awesome. I was so not rooting for that. Yeah.
That would have made it 2-2.
Right, that would have made it 2-2.
I love that. That's great. That's great.
And they just played their asses off.
Yeah. So I saw again. I can't on Twitter. I saw the Kraken scored the first goal in every single game.
Right.
Of that series.
First time since Toronto in 2004.
Wow. I know that's a crazy stat.
Yeah, it was on the TV. It's just in my head right now because I knew you were coming.
Right. I mean, that's just crazy that the fact that the Kraken, one, scored the first goal in every game, and two, the fact that the Avs, ended up winning 3 of those games is pretty impressive.
Right, and so wait, they won 3, and now what did you think about the hit on Cogliano?
Cogliano, yeah. So
his head was right.
Yeah, player safety, especially everything gets kind of put under a microscope in the playoffs because you need every advantage you can get. And when players get hurt and there's only a minor and like the league doesn't review it, it's really weird because you'd think that play where he broke something in his neck,
fractured his neck. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that.
How does he not get suspended for the next game?
And Everly's a good player for them. I think he scored one of the game-winning overtime goals for the Kraken. In Game 3.
Oh, yeah,
so
Eberle.
That would have been a big player to miss. Obviously, Cogliano's part of that Cup team last year, a great third, fourth line grinder.
I heard McKinnon, too, was making, we didn't have our players, and afterwards I was like, dude, you lost the game. I mean, I hear what you're saying.
Right. But obviously, Landeskog being out for the whole season hurts. He's just a horse for them. But and another thing you have to say, and I hate to do it to the ex-Ranger, but, maybe Georgiev could have had a better series.
He did, right? He didn't have a great series.
Right, so he's not a dominant number 1 goalie. I think he's above
2
average.
Backup, would you say?
No, I think he deserved a starting opportunity.